Welcome to Pub Preview, where we play up-and-coming games and give our take on them. We're your hosts. I'm Brian. This is Sean, Gary, and the other Brian, who's buried in his elbow.
Uno mas, sir.
Welcome to Pub Preview, where we play up-and-coming games and give our take on them. I'm Brian. This is Sean, Gary, and the other Brian.
Today we'll be channeling our inner child as we battle off monsters invading our homes, our playgrounds, our game stores, and Jonathan Rulin's The Guardians Explore.
Before play begins, the monsters will need to invade Arthur'sburg. Start by placing the Guardian Adventure Mat on the table with a Timekeeper token on the setup space, aka the You Are Here spot. Next, lay out the locations in their proper order to distribute the monsters from the first wave deck. Put the second and the third wave decks on top of the Monster Aid card along with their respective rewards. And lastly, randomly select a blue and red boss and put them underneath the Guardian Adventure Mat.
After the main board setup is complete, you will select your character by placing the matching player mat, blanket, fort, guardian figure, and power level counters in front of you. Also make sure to start with the back side of the player mat up, as this will help you during the deck creation phase of the game. Finally, 2 secret quests and 2 super cards are dealt to each player.
During the deck creation phase, you'll be drafting a total of 14 cards over 2 turns. You'll be doing this based on the super card unique to your character. After drafting, you will choose 1 super card to keep, adding the rest to some generic starter cards to form your deck.
Now it's time to defeat some monsters. The second half of the game will focus on playing, refining, and to a lesser extent, collecting cards. First, you will select a safe area to visit to gain benefits. Then you'll power up by playing cards from your deck. You can gain energy from cards with the blue diamond and gain attack power from cards with the red circle.
Once everyone is powered up, we can then go to a location with monsters equal to or lesser value than our attack value. Then we get that monster as our trophy with their little points. After so many rounds, we'll eventually fight a lesser boss monster, and then a few more rounds before our mega baddie boss monster. At the end of the game, after that happens, we will count up our trophies and our secret quest points, and the person with the most points win.
So we just finished a game of Guardians Explore. If you'd like to check out some extended gameplay, check the link in the description below. But for now, we're going to give some thoughts. This takes a vastly popular mechanic of deck building, kind of flips it upside down, and instead of building a deck and refining a deck, you actually kind of start with a deck by drafting. I love drafting, I love deck building, and this game is a lot of fun for me. It adds some new elements, and I mean, what do y'all think?
I think the deck refining aspect, I found it this go around pretty challenging because a lot of the monsters we would fight or cards we would draw would add in more basic cards. So just when I thought, okay, I've got my combo going, it's really good, I've trashed a few cards, oh, now here I come with some more practice swings. And so that always kept it challenging. There's a few turns I just couldn't do much, but it wasn't that bad because I set it up for the next turn to come back and swing really hard.
I really love the deck building genre also. In this game, I enjoy the board aspect of it, like where you choose where to go. I found several times where, in the game, like the timing of when you go to those places is really important. So the actual layout of the board here, the locations and things, they add a lot to the game. The deck building is I guess the deck refining, I guess we're calling it, is really it's really fun. Like the first couple times we played this game, it was just okay, but this time it was a lot more fun for me.
I'm the voice of this group that's not really into deck building or doesn't really have a lot of experience with it. So I came into this as not having a love for this type of game, and I tell you the thing that did help with that. So if you're like me, you're not really under this is kind of a foreign type of world to you. Then what helped to me was 2 things. One was the theme. Which I'm just in love with this theme of these kind of middle schoolers going out and battling warlocks and robots and orcs and stuff. It's like their imagination became real, and so the theme alone really interested me first with the beautiful artwork, and then having this here, which Brian already mentioned, kind of having a board. This gave me something that that I'm more familiar with. Like having a board on the table instead of just like a traditional, I guess, deck builder where it's mostly just cards and playing and comboing. So this gave me something I can relate to. This drew me into the game. You can tell if you watch the playthrough that I wasn't very good at it, but I still had a good time, and it was very challenging to figure that out. But as I would say, just as the voice of our group that's not really familiar or good at deck building, I still had a good time, and this is the only one that I think I've successfully was engaged by.
We were talking earlier before we even started playing about hard decisions in games, and making the right decision in this game can be crucial. There's a lot of tension and a lot of crunchiness of, do I get rid of this card? I know I'm going to have to discard because we're about to have an overrun wave come. So if I don't get rid of this one at the right time, then I'm going to lose this one, then I'm going to have no attack. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like games that make you make that decision.
Yeah. Games that give you multiple good options,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Or it's hard to know which one
Yeah.
to do.
When you have one option available, it's a boring game.
Or sometimes the lesser of two bad options.
Well,
Right.
the flip
Which
side of
one
that
is
is you have to. I think in our playthrough, when we counted how many cards we all had in our hands, I think you had like 9.
Oh, that's a good point.
8, 9. You had 15.
I had 15 cards.
Your experience was a little different. I had 11, and I had a couple that had we gone another turn, I already kind of had a plan.
I had 10.
I had 9.
So it was almost it is the players who had the least amount of cards scored the most points at the end of the game.
And I think that's just part of. I'm not playing a ton of deck builders, but that seems to be, you want to pare that deck down to where you only have your cards.
See, I knew that.
Trashing cards is extremely
I knew
hard.
that anyway, so it must be like a learned kind of strategy, because I knew it going into the game. This is what I needed to do.
Well,
but then actually doing it,
the game
I'm not
does
very good at
provide
it.
some really good ways to do that. But like Sean said, you have to make the decision to, like, say, go home where you can trash a couple cards. But that means you're skipping out on another, like maybe the playground where you're immune to the overrun effects. Which the playground was great if you already had a lot of cards in your discard pile that you wanted to get rid of.
Oh, timing
But
is ridiculous. Just trying to get that because you got 3 left, you're about to draw 4 cards, and your whole discard's just going to go away. And it's timing that trashing on the playground is hard.
Yeah, or I wish I could trash some cards, but all I've got in my hand are the practice swings the Bryans keep giving me. So then I have to go over here and just pray that I get something useful. But I do think the game mitigates that somewhat in that having a bad turn isn't the end of the world, because you can go ahead and all those bad cards are now in your discard pile. And so your next turn, like I had a really bad turn, and then I came out and like swung for like 29 points of damage, like with round 3 or 4 on our first boss, which felt really great because I had done all of nothing like for the first few turns. But once I got my engine going, I felt like it went pretty well.
And that's where the back of your player mat, your suggestions here, if you can get down to just those cards and all you're drawing is your combo, I mean every turn. But getting there that's the game.
Yes, again. You're constantly fighting against that.
I'll say this about the suggested cards too. I thought this was interesting that they provided these suggestions, and it kind of made me a little wary of, is the game just going to come down to this every time? But I'll say this: this game right here, I actually found a combo that was outside of what it suggested. Nice. And it actually worked really well for me. So I built something based kind of on what they suggested, but then I found another combo that worked awesome. So,
and also I've talked with Jonathan, and he will be providing some generic pre-constructed decks if you don't want to go through the whole concept of drafting and trying to get the right combos. You can kind of start with them and then just work on the refinement.
That'd probably be a great to combo that with the Apprentice game. Mm-hmm. Just that would cut down the time to jump in the game. Basically, just open up the box, read a few page or two of rules and then just jump into the game.
I do know with drafting, without playing the game, even with seasoned
Yes.
deck builders,
Yeah.
people who deck build, without really knowing this game, the drafting is almost blind. Like
Yeah.
whatever I get.
Absolutely.
And so I think that would go a long ways in getting them to play this, and then after that, now that everybody knows this game, let's draft.
Well,
So for sure.
yeah, and there's a lot of players who just love to kind of deck build and build a pre-made decks to try to kind of min-max everything. I mean, I guess you could do that as well. Maybe finding a way to ramp up the difficulty. Although I have to say, the third wave monsters, they don't really need to be ramped up.
No.
Those guys are tough. But by that point, you may not even really need to attack that many. You may be building up for the boss fight.
Yeah,
you
see,
know?
the goal is by the time you've gone to that first boss, you need to have that combo almost ready.
All right, so guys, would we agree that this is a game that Pub would recommend for people who are just, especially if you're a fan of the deck building genre? I mean, would this be a game
Yeah.
you guys would recommend?
I think I would recommend it for personally, even for the experience of this playing in this world myself. Even deck building aside, I can ignore that and just and have a great time in this world. So I would definitely recommend it for that reason on my side.
I'd recommend it. I like the uniqueness of this game. It fills a niche that no other games that I've played, especially in deck building, that they do. So.
No,
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with Sean. I mean, it's definitely, if you like deck building or the concept of deck building, I mean, this game is definitely worth a look. So, yeah.
So
I
awesome.
recommend it.
So check it out. The Guardians Explored, kickstarting September, I believe. We should see that this month, and check that out. Also, subscribe to Pub Meeple. Check out the gameplay video. Click on that next if it's up. It'll be up soon after this one. And subscribe, like our videos, and we'll see you again soon.
Hey Sean, have you heard about that nifty new Pub Meeple website at www.pubmeeple.com?
Wow! I need to go there, and I think they're also on Twitter.
That's right, guys. Y'all need to go to www.pubmeeple.com and follow us on Twitter. And if you even have a Facebook, you can even check out our group there where
I'm
you
on the
get to see.
Facebook.
Do you have a Facebook?
I'm on the Facebook.
So check us out and interact because we love everybody.
Even works.